Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns. You're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role playing games with friends. This is Star Wars Saturdays, so named because I run games set in Star Wars and I mostly run them on Saturdays. This is one of a two-shot of a game called Space Aces. The Space Aces is this adorably interesting game that started off as like a one page, I believe. And then there was a small Kickstarter, and there have been like 4 or 5 iterations of the rules. It's a flyweight system that has all kinds of different like plugins and neat ideas. I think it's cool. It's originally built with kind of a Star Trek flavor to it, I think, especially with the naming conventions, such as Space Aces. The version we're playing is Space Aces, the new guidebook, but it's always abbreviated TNG, for those who care. But I thought that it would work real well as a Star Wars style game. So we're going to be running that. It's a game with a D20 and a D6, and the D6 is a little bit of your flavor of how things are, and you're trying to roll over a difficulty number. The GM sets. I still call myself a DM. I don't know where that came from. I haven't been a DM in a while. So we have some safety tools. We have lines, which means it's a line we don't cross. We have veils, which is okay. This content's okay to exist, but we don't want to shine a spotlight on it. And then we have ask first, which means before you introduce this kind of content, if you could, player to player, please say, hey, I'm thinking about so-and-so. So that we can briefly, at any point, if somebody says, oh, can you try it a different way? Then we haven't dropped it into fiction, right? It's not content that our characters have to deal with. So we have a little bit of a stopgap, and the ask firsts are run pretty wide gamut. We have them all in our character keeper. I trust you guys take a look at it. I also will be watching it over. And if I happen to broach into anything and you notice that I'm dancing a line or a veil or a ask first, feel free to say, hey, Rich, we have or do it in chat or whatever. Perfectly fine. Oh, I'm more than happy to be called on something if I make a mistake. It's not a problem. And the rating for this game, like if we were to do it, it would be at best pushing to PG, is what I'm thinking with the overall feel for our game. The gist is that you guys are all playing characters who are part of the Yin group, and your gig workers mostly sent on deliveries. And so there's some like feel influence I have from a game called Cloudpunk, but Cloudpunk is way more intelligent and well considered than I am. But boy, that soundtrack is the best. But so it's got some Cloudpunky vibes in my head, but there's also the lighter side of Star Wars, the Muppets, the bizarre, where did this musical number come from, bits of Star Wars that I normally avoid in Star Wars Saturdays, and I'm going to embrace it with you this Saturday and next Saturday, friends. So with all of that out of the way, let's have everyone introduce their characters, and then we will begin your first gig. Kai, if you could, lead us off. Introduce yourself and tell us about the character you're playing and why did they end up working for Yin Group?
Okay, well, let's see here. I'm playing Lena, a Zabrak. Lena's hair covers up the horns. They use they them pronouns like I do. And they have a skill in droid repair. They are chill, they're brave, they're often confused, and they have a temper. And I think they have like a vocal fry when they speak, which is awesome. I wouldn't have ever thought to do that except for the book, had that on the list, so I took it. They have a lot of moxie, and I think Lena went to school for religion and ended up getting an internship at a Sith temple and got decided to leave when they didn't quite like who they were working for anymore. They were kind of mean, so they got to pay their school loans, and that's what they're doing gig working.
Kind of mean. Was that on the application for like reason for termination of last employment?
Definitely cannot contact my last employer, and irreconcilable differences. Was on
Nice.
the sheet.
That sounds businessy. I love it.
Or divorcee, but whatever.
Businessy, divorcee, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Thank you so much, Kai. That is delightful. That is the kind of answer I was hoping to hear from someone of, but I did not expect internship at Sith Temple. Who saw that coming? It's great. All right, Danielle, you're next.
Yes. I'm Danielle. I use she, her pronouns, and I am playing Jocam, who I think also uses she, her pronouns, who is a Chiss, and I think her backstory is like similar to Lena in that like getting out of an intense way she was raised. I think she did a lot of navigation, like went through the military academy and was trained to be navigating, piloting, etc. But didn't like what she had to do in order to do it, and wanted to. But the thing is about like when you have those skills and you leave a place, like, I don't want to work for you. A lot of the other places were like, please join our ideological place. And it's like, you really had to sign up for a cause no matter where you went. And so she did not want to sign up for a cause right now. She's not doing that right now. So she ended up at Yen Group and was like, okay, I would like to fly, and I would like it to not have to be for something or for somebody. So that is how she ended up here.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Next up, Steven, introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
Hi, I'm Steven, and my pronouns are he, him, and today I'm playing Jux Lucky Rig, and Lucky's pronouns are also he, him. He's an Ardenian, which is the 6-armed people who walk on 2 of them from Solo. And Lucky, his primary skill is cooking and hospitality, and he's kind of a fun-loving prankster kind of guy, a little bit greedy, and he's with Yen Group primarily because I think it was kind of a mistake, a lucky mistake. We'll figure out during play how the dice decides if Lucky is ironic or not. But I think that it's one of those things that he actually accidentally took someone else's place who had applied to Yen Group as like a serious hunter or something like that. He was like, oh, but I'm the cook and I'm good with people, so I'm gonna just make sure everybody has a good time for us. Yeah.
So you apply for a position you were eminently not qualified for. Is that what you're saying?
No, I think I somehow mistakenly, I was in line for a different position and they mistook me for like a bounty hunter kind of person. I said, oh,
okay.
you're totally hired. Come on in. And I was like, great, let's do this thing. Except, I'm not going to be shooting people. I'm going to be cooking prawns. That sound okay?
Yeah. Yes, that's great. I just want to make sure, was it a willful, but no, it's purely by accident. That's,
yeah. And Lucky just kind of rolled with it and said, great, let's do the thing.
That is so good and possibly problematic, but not problematic as in a content, but like problems for him. For sure. Thank you. Last but certainly not least is Anders.
Yeah, hello, I'm Anders. I use he, him. I am playing Kem Kogilniak, who is a Rhodian, and I think she has kind of the opposite background of some of the others. She uses she them pronouns. She's not particularly bothered. Her parents left. They kind of they didn't like Rhodian society with all this focus on hunting and that sort of thing. They're kind of hippies by Rhodian standards. But Kem, she discovered this thing about the hunt, and she's really into it. She wants to be a hunter, but she doesn't know really any other Rhodians except for her parents, who don't want her to get into that sort of thing. So she's basically applying the hunt as a thing to everything she does. So that's her. She's really intense about the hunt, but she doesn't really know that much about it. She collects a lot of stuff. Like she's figured out that having the right tool is a good thing. So she collects a lot of tools. And she tends to tackle problems head on. She's not very subtle. She's not very good at making friends because she's a bit intense sometimes.
Dang it.
That's it.
Why are you so intense, Kim? What's intense about being a hunter? You could be a hunter. Anyone can be a hunter.
No, you must practice. You must apply yourself.
Sweet.
Initiations.
So here's the deal. You space aces are on a Yen group spaceship. I now am going to randomly, with the fantasy name generator, I'm pretty sure that it has a spaceship name generator, if I remember correctly. Oh man.
Are you also going to randomly roll the spaceship?
No, it's going to adhere to whatever we need at the moment.
Okay.
Oh yeah, this is great. I don't even know what these letters mean, but it's the LWSS Hummingbird.
Yes.
That is your ship. That is
Love that.
delightful. I am into that. I'm going to stick that down on row 58 so we have that. You guys are on the LWSS Hummingbird. It is brand spanking new. It is a ship that has the bare bones covered. And check in. My idea is that it has bare bones covered, but of course it's fully upgradable. So if you guys decide that you want to like use some of the credits that you make, you can like add more bits to it. Does that seem interesting, cool kind of thing? But right now it's just the base standard. It's like the stock, fresh out of the factory, shiny new, similar to the Naboo shuttle from the prequels. Like, wow, this thing looks sleek. Is that cool with everybody? If that's what we have for the Hummingbird. All right. And you're currently flying out of Coruscant and about to head on galactic northeast because you have been sent out. The notification that's playing over, we'll say, who's our pilot, by the way? Is that Jokem?
I think so. If that's
I think you
cool
said
with
you wanted to
everyone.
be the pilot. Is that cool? All right. So Jokem behind and it's got a nice brand new cool pilot wheel. So the dispatch agent Thomas gave you a pickup location. You are headed at through hyperspace to retrieve a band known as Fizzbliz. There are no vowel, like it's galactic basic, but there are no vowels in Fizzbliz. Fizzbliz, their most recent, very popular set of songs are Fizzbliz Forever, F-U-R. They're so hot right now. They are just gigantic. So Fizzbliz. So I guess the question I have is, Lucky, are you a fan of Fizzbliz?
I am now.
Nice.
Yeah. I think that, the trip there is studying up a little bit on what kind of listening to their music while I'm cleaning their quarters and making sure that they will feel comfortable on the ship. I'm like, these sheets, they're too stiff. They're brand new. So I'm wadding them up and getting them all loose and everything and then laying them back out. And probably at the same time looking through a cookbook to see what kind of things they might want to eat.
Oh, that's so thoughtful. That's so thoughtful. So yeah, this is a job for you. You're going to do a great service. You're going to be such excellent hospitality host there.
Yeah.
Lena, are you a fan of Fizzbliz? Just so we're clear, the Fur Happy Forever, they do this weird kind of cute fur core act. Two of their members are from this weird moon of a planet called Endor. There's these short little furry creatures, Weechi and Rumba. They go by Randy and Dandy. So I'll ask you again, do you consider yourself a fan of this group, or are you not a fan?
I like them, but I don't want anybody to know that I like them.
Nice. Are you like them to know their rep, or just their songs?
Let's go for it. I know the lyrics to every song they sing.
Nice. You know the lyrics to every song they sing. That's wonderful. So now we jump over as you guys are headed. Joe Cam, I am curious, what about you vis-a-vis the Fizzbliz or the Fizz generation? What are your thoughts, feelings on them?
The music that I listen to is the meditation of my own thoughts, really.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of, I have no idea about them whatsoever. This is, we were driving past, and I'll be like, oh, is that what the billboards were for? Okay. Interesting. I think she just has no place for pop, has no understanding of pop music, but is intrigued and slightly suspicious, I think. Yeah. If there was someone who just had the classical station on all of the time, that's her.
Oh, wow. She's kind of an NPR gal. That's great. Classical station all the time. Perfect.
Classical station, because it builds character, right? It raises the tone.
Wow, I don't know who told you that, but we'll go with it. Sweet.
Yeah, whoever taught her in the academy told her that. So clearly they hated fun.
And then last but certainly not least, Kim, what are your thoughts vis-a-vis Fizzbliz?
I knew absolutely nothing about them before we got the job. Now I have a complete collection of their recordings, which I haven't listened to, because the only entertainment I listen to are recordings of Rhodian theater plays.
Oh yeah, Rhodian Opera, love it.
Yeah.
Did you acquire their album? Did you acquire their albums illegally?
Probably some of them. I mean, I probably stole some of them and bought some of them and had. I mean, I think I would go into a a store with used. I don't know how Star Wars records music, but like replace them in the covers or whatever,
Mhm.
and yeah, maybe yeah, that sort of thing. Bought one of them, one of the early limited editions, very expensively on some auction site or something. And then on the Galactonet, I don't know what it's called either.
May I add to that?
Yeah, sure.
Lucky helped you and was helping figure some stuff out. And let's make sure that here's some of the their albums and stuff like that. But Lucky actually swapped out some of their albums, so whenever you do go to listen to it, it's like jizz and it's like really weird kind of other electronica kind of music mixed in with their you said it was fuzzcore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fuzzcore.
so it's like this whole stretch of stuff that he's Lucky's like, oh yeah, you'll love this.
Yeah,
Nice.
Kem doesn't understand any of it, but it's she now believes she has a full understanding of the Fizzbliz, their discography and their development from their early days to the present.
Man, you guys really work hard for this. This is impressive. Gin Group is probably gonna want you guys to take them all the way to their next place if you're successful here, if you guys live through it. So Thomas gave you the pickup location on the planet Zanju, which is a day's travel from where you are. Zanjuhum is a tropical low-gravity water world populated by humans on one continent and the slug-like Tetesasharians on most of the other land masses. The freshwater sea that blankets the planet is only a few meters deep in most places. Thousands of small islands terraformed from a freshwater coral analog dot the surface, some small enough for a single dwelling, others large enough to support an entire town. As the water is calm and the islands flat, the inhabitants use the round single-passenger hovercraft almost exclusively for transport. The largest performance venue on the planet is the Bell Atoll. Small islands in a ring provide support for an enormous toroid framework. The stage is a larger island in the center. The three-dimensional structure maximizes seating since Tetsuasashins can effortlessly climb and cling in any direction they wish. For reasons unknown, the Tetsuasashins of all ages love the childlike Fizzbliz and their fuzzcore. The Bell Atoll is jam-packed from sea level to high in the rafters, and the support islands are clogged for hundreds of meters with parked hover discs. The audience isn't rowdy. In fact, it's hard to detect any emotion at all from the Tetsuasashins. They refuse to leave or let the band go. So as you guys are cruising in here, you've received the repeated distress beacon from the Fizzatron, which is a gonk droid that plays most of the kind of the bass and support for Fizzbliz forever. SOS, audience does not permit exit. On 5th encore of Happy Bumpy, switching to crowd control mode. That's what comes through as you guys come streaking in, throwing up the cool waves behind you, the wake, as you're skimming in on the Hummingbird. So I want to ask Joe Cam, as your pilot, what's your plan here to rescue the poor Fizzbliz?
I think she's taking a look at how crowded it is, and do we have, I assume we have an ability to like hover, like stop, but like hover in the air. Does our ship have that?
Sure.
Okay, awesome. I think that she's like, these wild music fans Lena or Lucky, or actually Kim, whoever, I can hover above, and I can just pop the back open if someone wants to go down and grab, and we can just pull them up. Either that, we can like drop a rope and we can go down, and then I can reel them back in. It seems like the crowd is fully is a no-go. I'm not sure how we're gonna cut a path through there, so why don't we just go from the top?
Okay, so the hummingbird comes and you guys are set right over top. So I'm gonna check in with Lena. Lena, do you imagine the hummingbird when it hovers over top, like is there pressure downward? I mean, is this some kind of hover as they hover over top, like some of the slugs are getting pushed down by the the gravity force of what's going on, or what's the impact of you guys just hovering over top of a giant stage covered with slug-like beings, the tetsuersations?
I think what you see is gravity ripples in their bodies, like their bodies actually just, yeah, exactly. Yes. And I dare say they start to have visible emotions of anger. I don't know what that looks like.
Oh, they're like little antennae. They're just pointing towards you guys, and some of them tear themselves away from Happy Bumpy. And they're looking up. Yeah, that's not great. That's not great at all. Who wants to jump down into that?
I am.
Oh, literally. Who does?
Yeah, I am.
Yep. Oh, sweet. Just so we're clear, if you look in the NPCs and places, you have pics of Dandy, Randy, Handy, and the Physitron. So Lucky Rig, it sounds like you want to, what are you scaling down, like grabbing a rope and some pitons and the like, or
yeah,
how do you want to get down?
I think the plan was that Joachim opened the back of the ship and we were going to toss down some ropes and that kind of stuff and scale down that way. And so I'm going to head out. Anyone who wants to come with me can. Or I can go by myself. And I think whenever I go down the rope, I look sort of like one of those Cirque du Soleil acrobats, right? I'm like swinging around and trying to make a show of it.
Ooh, that sounds cool. So by default, doing this it's tricky, right? 50-50 shot. You've got skills in it. I feel like you are tackling a problem head on. Yeah. Not hedging your bets. Feels like Moxie is at play. So you're going to roll a d20 plus 3 and then a d6, which will flavor whether you suffer a cost or gain a benefit from this.
And what's the plus 3 from?
The plus 3 is from your Moxie. So you roll a d20, you get to add your stat.
I thought my Moxie was a 1.
Yeah.
I am looking at the right character. Yeah, your Moxie looks like a 3 to me.
Really?
Oh, Friends is a 3. Rich forgot that things are under. Your Moxie is a 1. Sorry.
Okay. So it's
you're right. I'm wrong.
D20 plus 1, right?
D20 plus 1. So sorry. I apologize. I'm going to change these colors so that I can easily tell the difference.
Well, I got a 16.
Oh, nice.
Is this roll high or roll low?
It is roll high.
Okay, good.
Because harder things are higher difficulty. So roll high. If you meet or beat. So 16 plus 1. Now roll a d6.
Okay. 6.
6. So a 6 is gain a benefit. Nice. Cool. So you decide to make a show out of it. And the Tetrasasations, they're not very emotional, right? They have snail faces, but they perceive that this is part of the show. Like maybe they figured they've unlocked something special by demanding 5 encores of the same song that now is going to change, and Happy Bumpy is going to have a cool Ardenian acrobat. So as you come down to the stage, Lucky, you see that couple of the Tetrasasashians, younger ones, adolescents, they drop from the rigging and splat onto the Physitron, which is a gonk droid. And they just hang there because they can cling to anything like snails can do. And you hear like a little whining sound from Physitron. And then the gonk droid emits an electric shock. It's like kind of a get the hell off me taser thing to these things. Meanwhile, the rest of Fizzbliz, the two lead singers, and then the double neck bass, who is the Sulliston, notice that you're here, and they of course saw the ship, so they think you're the way that they're going to get out of here. Dandy, who is the shorter of the two Ewoks, looks at you happily, while Randy screams into his mic, "Deuces, we're out of here, slug losers!" So let's check in with Kim and Lena as you see that Lucky's gone down and is now, I assume, probably trying to help the Ewoks and the Sulliston and maybe the gonk droid. What's Lena up to?
Lena thinks that it would be a bad thing if the crowd could get in their vehicles and follow us. So they plus a droid are heading out, and they're going to set up a giant magnet that will not allow these ships to leave. As a matter of fact, as soon as they start up, their energy will magnify the magnet and it'll suck them in.
Now, just so we're on the same page, they don't have ships, they have hover discs, but this still can work.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
just making sure that we were on the same page. So that means that it would be like all kinds of little hover discs that are heading towards this giant magnet that you have. This is
if I can get it installed right. Yeah.
If you can get it installed right. I think that sounds delightful. And so, by the way, just so we're clear, Lucky, your benefit is that these guys think you're part of the show, so they're not trying to repel you in any way, just in case that wasn't clear. So, Lena, I feel like what you're trying to do is if you're trying to do it quickly, which I assume is the goal, I'm going to say that that's hard. Right? But what do you think you're risking here? What goes wrong if you fail here?
If I fail here, then the magnet will be too powerful and it'll affect our ship as well.
That makes perfect sense to me. Gosh, this is hard, right?
Yeah.
All right, you're going to roll a d20. What stat do you think you are engaging here?
Let's see. I think it's either Moxie or Smarts. And that's a good thing or a bad thing. What do you think, Rich? Which one do you think it is?
Oh, gosh, what are you asking back at me? I asked you. Okay, so I'm going to go with the worst stat. That's my new rule. If you ask me what it is, I'm going for the worst thing.
Then
worst
I'm using
thing.
Moxie.
Awesome.
Okay, so a D20 plus 3.
Okay.
Is the droid helping?
Yeah.
Like, how does helping work? Ooh.
Because you've got the droid repair skill. That's what I was.
Yeah, I mean, a droid's definitely coming with me.
Is it just droid repair, or is it like droid like skill, like something to do with like being able
programming,
to
that kind of thing? Yeah, like let's make it broad. Like if you want to use if your droid is helping you here, then you get to use your skill and you can roll 2d20.
What about droid savant?
Oh, that sounds way
Ooh.
more fun. I am into it.
Okay. So I will roll 2d20 and add 3. I assume to my highest.
Correct. Unless you want to choose to fail.
Right. Right. And then after that, I'll roll a d6. Okay. So first roll. Both of which are fine. I'll take this
Wow,
one.
that's a great D20 rolls. Roll that D6.
Okay. 2.
Awesome. So you suffer a cost, which means I'm going to be adding to your heat level. That's it. I'm just going to, the suffer a cost is the heat. So,
Okay.
because I'm trying to build up this heat and it's going to last for the whole session. So I'm excited to get some heat going. So we're gonna say you got 2 heat. All right. So you start setting up that magnet and we see like the first, of course we see the first, like the wavy thing. Then we see one hover disk and then and there are just thousands of them. And a couple of the snails are like looking as the hover disks are flipping and flitting by them. Kim, you see that Lucky has reached the stage, that Lena has gone off on their own, but they have a plan with a magnet. What is Kim doing?
I think Kem has, in her studies of the group, she has figured out that Randy and Dandy, they're probably good climbers, and Handy, he's got hands. I mean, he can climb a rope. But the Physotron, I mean, a gonk droid is not going to climb up on a rope to the ship. So Kem is bringing out her suction rifle. It's like a big, heavy rifle with, it's basically like a harpoon, but with a plunger. So she's going to use that to shoot the Physotron and haul it up onto the
Oh,
ship.
yes. That is delightful. I love this. I think it's just tricky. You need a 10 or better. Best of luck to you. What do you feel like you're using?
Yeah, it's either Moxie or Pockets. I think it's Pockets because it's stuff. It's a piece of gear she's using.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Do you have that crucial piece of gear? Well, okay. So the way Pockets works is if you need some weird thing, I probably could have asked for Lena to have a Pockets to see if you've got that crazy magnet, but that was just wild enough. Yeah. So Pockets would be, do you have a plunger thing? I'm okay if you say you have a plunger thing. I'll probably get a little more stringent after our intro scene on Pockets.
Oh, okay,
So if you want to go ahead
it was
and
just like the other stats. Sorry.
yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's these stats are weird and we'll get used to them. So I think you're tackling the problem head on. And as I double check which stat it's which,
That's Moxie.
yeah, Moxie, you've got a 2.
Cool.
Are you bringing the hunt? Are you good at hunting? Do you feel like hunting is what's going on here?
I mean, I'm shooting it, but it's not. I don't know.
You're trying to acquire someone onto the
Yeah, that's true. That's
ship,
true.
though.
Yeah.
2d20. 2d20.
Cool. Let's see, 2d20, and that's a 5 and an 8, but it's a +2, right, for my Moxie?
So you got a 10, which means you got it exactly because it was tricky.
Just barely.
Weak. Roll that d6 and let's see what the cost or benefit might be.
Yeah, cool. Let's see, 1d6. That's a 4.
Nice. All right. Standard outcome. So you do the thing. He electrocutes Physotron. I don't know if Physotron chooses a gender. I'm not sure here. We'll have to talk to them. But Physotron electrocute like zapped, didn't electrocute, like didn't kill anybody. Just like we saw. If you were to see a person, you of course was getting electrocuted in this style, we would see their skeleton. But because it's a slug, we just see like this weird membrane or something, and then they both fall down, and then the not harpoon plunger slaps onto the top of Physitron, and you start. Is it a winch, or do you have so you start winching it up, and its little legs are wiggling as it's going up, up, up. Meanwhile, I think Ramba is cursing out the crowd in a few different languages, while Dandy, which is the smart one, he's the smart one, or so he says. Dandy is coming up to you, Lucky, like, "Oh, I'm so thankful you're here. If ever you would take me away from these fine, overzealous fans." And it does the pick me up like little kids,
Yeah, I think that so Lucky kind of leans over and takes one of the ropes, and it's got a clip at the end and attaches it to like Dandy's belt, and then goes over, and I think I'm actually going to get close to Randy, and I'll say, I'll say to Dandy, yeah, I mean, just hold on for the ride and enjoy it. It'll be great. And then I'm going to lean over to Randy, and I think I'm going to actually cut in with him. So as he's cursing out the crowd, I'll start kind of scatting back and forth, and what's the right word? Mixing a little bit back and forth, and clip him as well, so that we can retract both of them up into the ship. Yeah. But I want to kind of do this in such a way that the crowd probably still thinks that this is part of the show.
I love it. It's like now it's going to be an aerial thing. It's what you're trying to pull off. That sounds wonderful. I think that because they don't yet think you're a threat, it's just tricky. As you are looping them up together, Randy, aka Ramba, screams out over the mic, "What happens when two Tetrasashians get into a fight? They slug it out!" So let's have you roll.
Yeah. So let's see. What am I doing with this? I'm probably. So I think this is probably me trying to manipulate the people on stage as well as the people in the crowd. So I think this would be with friends.
You bet. It's your connections and your charm. You're being charming. You're selling the idea that this is a cool aerial feat for the latest Happy Bumpy Encore. I'll let you have it. So D20 plus 3, and then don't forget your D6 after.
Okay.
Oof. Mighty fine.
And a 6.
Oh, you gain a benefit. That's great. So you grab both of the Ewoks up, and the three of you kind of twirl for a little bit. You're going up higher. Are you carrying them, or did you just fasten them? I'm just trying to make sure I got the visual right.
Yeah, I think I just clipped them on and said, hey, be ready for a ride. And I think I actually say that into the mic. So I'm telling all of the slug audience members, get ready for a ride. We're going to have a great time. Yeah.
Nice. And you do the thing. Like,
you have an idea for a benefit?
Yes, I do not. If you want to suggest one.
Oh yeah. So I think that the benefit that I get is I actually set down the equivalent of like a MP3 player or something like that I plug the mic into, that continues to play the music as we pull them out.
Nice.
Right? So there won't be this disruption where the music cuts out or the singing cuts out. It continues to play it, and yeah.
And see, if you'd rolled poorly, then the Tetsu Assassins would realize that they have been Milli Vanilling all this time.
Yes.
But they don't. They just think this is part of some kind of crazy, amazing part of everything that's going on. So, yeah. The hoverboards are still slinking towards your giant magnet, Lena. Joe Cam, you see that Lucky has brought up both of the Ewoks, that Kem has plungered up the Gonk droid. All that we have left is the double bass guitarist, Boneb Handy. What are you going to do to try to help out poor old Boneb, as Boneb's looking up at you guys, and he mutters to himself, I always get left behind.
I think I see that, like, just kind of like sigh, like, almost, it's like she was ready to hit the hyperdrive just immediately, and was like, God, no, we gotta tie up these loose ends. And I think that she's going to walk back into where all the ropes are hanging.
Okay.
And just be like, probably like use a mic or something like that, and be like, grab one of the ropes and just tell him, like, you can like go grab one of these, like, down towards him, like grab on.
Oh, nice. So you're trying to save Boneb yourself. Boneb Handy. Let's call this also tricky. There's a lot going on as the slugs are swarming the stage incredibly slowly.
Yeah, I think it comes out like, come on, you got hands, you can grab a rope. You can do this. Like,
yeah, he like grabs the rope, but he's like trying to grab some of the things off the stage that he's sure that they will need.
Right. Yeah. So, because I think that I would want to like hit like some kind of button, like I assume that there's something to wind the rope up. So I assume that I'm hitting that to pull this up.
Yeah. Hey, has anybody failed a roll? I think you guys have. I can't remember. Did anybody fail a roll yet? Okay, cool. Because grit comes in if you fail a roll, and I was just like, okay, sweet. All right. So which stat do you think Joe Cam is using here?
I think it might be Wiggles, because like I'm going at it by being like, you do this, and kind of like coming at it slightly from an angle instead of going down there and doing it myself.
I like it. D20, and you get to add 2 to that.
All right. Fire.
Hey, that is successful because you're tricky, difficult. So please roll a d6 for me, and let's see if there was any cost or benefit. And
I forgot to take the modifier.
It's all good. You gain a benefit. Does anyone have an idea for a benefit for Joe Cam grabbing the last member of Fizz Blizz? If not, I'm sure I can come up with something, but checking in.
The only thing is like that somehow he's able to take whatever else he was grabbing with him.
There we go.
He's able to hold.
They're able to perform at their next gig because you helped him hoist everything away. So, Lena, what do we see from you? Because you had that magnet. You're down. How do you get back to the hummingbird before she takes off?
I'm going to climb the mountain of hovercraft and then hold out a hook and then let them hook me, and I'll climb in.
I assume.
I got the droid on my back.
Is this something that we do? So as we swoop like around, it sort of dips down to like catch you.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It.
Nice. That's amazing. Yeah. All right. As you guys whisk off, picking up Lena, who climbs aboard, we see all of these snails. And then there's this moment we hear the tinny sound of the little music maker that Lucky had left behind. The speakers were all hoisted away, so it's just the only thing that's making the music. And then you hear this collective sound from all the Tessasashans. Aww. Then the camera lingers on the planet of Zanju for just a moment, pans across away from the Bellatal, and we see one of those monocular things, like like Luke had, looking up and watching the hummingbird leave. And then we see a Trandoshan has the monoculars. It says, I will find this hummingbird. And he steps over and starts to head to this very menacing looking ship. So I think, Lucky, you're being hugged by a very excited Dandy. Dandy, though, great deal shorter than you, so he's just kind of hugging your thigh or something like that. Oh, thank you ever so much. Oh, it was a horrific situation. There was so much problems. They were this thing. I'm sure that they were well-meaning, but I'm very tired. If I ever sing Happy Bumpy again, it would be too soon. And the other member of the two Ewok part here, Randy, screams out, "Hey, where's the Netrigal?" Netrigal being black ale, or translated from the Mando'a language, it's a traditional Mandalorian alcoholic beverage, earned its name from its dark black coloration. It's a sticky ale, the sweet taste. So he's now going to start heading towards your lounge, looking for a fridge or a galley or something. Lena, after you climb aboard, Jokam is back. She's at the cockpit flying you guys away. What are you doing, Lena?
Let's see. I am doing innocuous things that allow me to be near the band, but probably don't need to be done. Like, I don't know, cleaning a comm pad or something like that, or things that droids normally do. Like I'm, just walking around, being near Fizzbliz and kind of humming to myself. Maybe they'll notice I'm humming one of their songs. I don't know, but
Sweet.
Not doing anything.
Nice. Kim, you notice that Lena has returned to their duty stations and just seems to be hovering around the clients. What do you do about that?
Well, Cam's new goal is to get autographs from everyone in the band. That's her new hunt, but she can't just ask for them because that would be that doesn't seem very hunterly. So she's going to try to trick them into signing things. Basically, we have a waiver here for any damages and that sort of thing. And this is the the various documents, and she'll just pull it away a little bit just as they're signing it, so they'll sign something different.
Oh, so you're gonna try to trick them into sign. Oh, we came to pick you up, but actually you're just getting an autograph type deal. Oh, that sounds good. I really want to see a roll on that, though. It definitely sounds like you're using friends, right? You're trying to charm them.
Either that or Wiggles.
Wiggles seems probably more appropriate. I just want to make you roll -1, but yeah, it sounds good. You're rolling your Wiggles. We'll call it a right now easy difficulty.
Yeah, sounds reasonable. And two. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you You got it. You're good. You roll that d20. You'll be fine. You're gonna be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I
Oh my
roll a
goodness.
15, so
You add that wiggle 0 to 16. Roll that d6. And let's see if there's any cost or benefit.
right. A 5.
Ooh, a benefit. Nice. Yeah. So they are more than happy to sign whatever you want. Even Randy, who has. So, Joken, is there a food or a drink that you put your name on and put in the fridge in the galley?
I think usually it's just a very sensible like greens. There's like salad in there, but we were just at a planet where they do a kind of like a dried fruit and chocolate bar or something that I got, which is very unusual. And I was kind of tucked off to the side, but it
Nice.
definitely has my name on it.
Sweet. So, Kim, Randy is finishing up this fruit chocolate cocktail thing and offers you a little bit, and he is more than happy to sign it with his slightly chocolatey finger. Yeah, it's because he should have some of this. This is really good. This is really good.
Oh, that's strikingly similar to the one Jokan was saving for later. I thought we had run out
Oh,
of them.
Joe
I'll
Cam's a
gladly take
person. I
some.
thought that's what I was eating. It said Joe Cam on the package. So this isn't Joe Cam?
No, this
Because I was going to order 10 cases of Joe Cam.
no. Jokan is our pilot, and I think she may not be entirely pleased with
She?
having. Yeah.
Is she hot?
Oh my God. I doubt someone of your species would be able to judge that.
We can species this now. Guard
No,
you. And then he
I
waddles
mean,
off.
she doesn't have fur, so I guess she's. Oh, I don't understand. Oh well.
Oh, well.
I guess I'll have to tell Jokan that.
I was gonna say, like, can I bust in at this point, having tried
Sure.
everyone's comms and realizing that like no one is where they're supposed to be normally, and everyone is like, I look on the screen and everyone's clustered in the lounge, and I'm probably muttering like, everyone just listen to the Galactic Quartet. None of this would be a problem. What is this insanity that descends on people? As I'm like walking back, and I'm like, hello, yes, are you comfortable? Are you safe? Is everyone strapped in? Now I know we have the lounge, but it's regulations. Once you're done eating, you do have to
The hummingbird
sit and
pops down all of a sudden, like it just makes just a sudden movement.
I just turned it on autopilot, but and yeah, she's very confused, and I think would probably just run back to the
Awesome. There's
cockpit.
an Ewok sitting in the cockpit. He's turned off the autopilot, and he's like trying to fly it. He's gone back down into atmosphere at this point, and you guys are just zipping across, headed maybe towards the water. Possibly, you hear this thing, wing, 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 wing.
And I've just me like, excuse me, this is not where the passengers sit. And I walk over there. You must have mistaken this for, no, your quarters are back there. Please don't touch any of the things that you've already touched. And she's
It's
going,
too late, obviously. I think we're going to die.
Is there a is this
Hey,
like
wait, this could go in space, so it could probably go underwater. We'll be fine.
and she dives. Is this like a plane where there's a twin yoke thing?
Sure, sure, absolutely. There's like
So
pilot, co-pilot type deal.
Yeah, I hop in the not very often used co-pilot thing and yank back, trying to
Nice.
hit override buttons.
And he's standing up, right? Because he's real short.
Yeah.
And he tried sitting, but then he couldn't see where he was going. So he's just like standing up. So if you want to fight him for control of the hummingbird, I would like to see us roll. I think it's tricky. It's like a 50-50 shot, right?
Yeah, I guess the Ewok grip is like tough. Those little tricksy paws. Yes. So would this be Moxie, I guess, since I'm wrestling?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right.
You need a 10 or better. Good luck with that roll. A 13. That's great. That's successful. Roll me a D6 and let's see if there's any benefit or cost to this. Roll low so I can add to your heat. Oh my goodness. All these benefits. Oh, that's wonderful. So you take over and he like you end up shutting off the main, like you flip everything over to him. So he's grilling. He's like, yeah, I'm really good at this.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Like the child button. It's like as I'm pulling it, swooping up. Yeah. And I think as I'm pulling it up, I was like, if you wanted to fly yourself, you could have just hired a ship and flown it yourself. But you did pay us to do this.
Physitron doesn't let me touch any of the money anymore.
Oh, really? What happened last time?
I lost it all on booze and fun people. It's fine.
Oh.
I'm not sore about it. So can I get like those special wings? Because I've flown your ship now. And he smiles, and you could tell this is totally like a bit. Like he's trying to play you right now. You just get that vibe that he's just get wings. He wants you to think he's cute.
Oh yeah. I'm like, I was like, we don't really have wings on this one, but if you want to become a member, you can go help clean up whatever mess we created back there.
I'm already bored. Hey, listen, you're Joe-Cam, right? Yeah,
yes.
the Rodian ate all of your food. She like threw it on my hands, and I said, "No, that's Joe-Cam's." I'm in her little proboscis mouth. I don't know. You guys have problems. You should report it to HR. I'm out. He walks out of the cockpit.
Yeah, I think she's like, just like deep sigh of relief to have it out. It was like, okay. Yes, well, cellists would never do this. Gesticulating.
So, sounds like that might be a good like in scene bit if everybody's cool with that. Let's go ahead and take our mid-game bio. So you have successfully convinced Randy, Joe-Cam, to head back. He confessed to you that the chem ate all of your chocolate fruits and threw a bunch onto his hands, and he walked away.
Yeah, it's very convincing.
Let's pick up with. Gosh, it was, I think, Lucky, you got them all to sign some documents, or was it Kim? It was Kim. You got the documents. So yeah, you've given them signatures. You think they've signed documents. And I think that Boneb is going to come see Lena. So Boneb is the Sulliston. He goes by Handy. That's his stage name. And he says, oh, actually, let's take a step back. You guys are all wearing coveralls, Yin Group coveralls with your names on them. Unless you've taken off your jacket or changed out of your coveralls, but technically, you're supposed to be wearing the Yin Group coveralls. So Lena, when Handy, aka Boneb, comes up to talk to you, is he able to read your name tag on your coveralls, or have you gotten rid of such things?
I think Lena's into rules. So this is a rule, so they'll wear the thing. So yeah, the name tag would be prominent. So with the logo. But
Nice. So Handy has changed out of the brightly colored fizz blizz stuff into his coveralls and toolkit. He's like fastened on his little tool belt, and he comes up to you and says, I was quite impressed with the magnet, Lena, he says, leaning in and looking up at the name tag.
oh, thank you. It was an inspired moment.
But you brought the magnet.
Oh, I had no idea what I was going to use it for. I just wanted a really big magnet.
Do you have more magnets?
No, but I've got other things that I'm planning on using at some point.
May I see them?
Sure. Come with me.
Follow you to what? Do you have a workshop? Do you have like a little tech workshop here on the ship? Or do you have your room where you've collected a bunch of things? Like where do you take them?
Yeah, right. So yeah, I think we go back to my room and I pull out like a foot locker, and I'm just geeking out on different things, like, this will this kind of acts like a pulse laser, but it's also kind of like a lawn sprinkler, so it just spins in circles and shoots. Don't know what I'm going to use that for, but
That's terrifying.
oh, it's got a safety on it.
I'm relieved.
And what else?
Please don't show this to Randy. Please. Why? Because he'll shoot people with it.
He's not a nice guy, is he?
He won't mean to hurt anyone. He'll just pull the trigger because it's interesting. He's a very good singer.
There's this disappointment. Lena devoted some of their life to this band, and they're realizing that they're not quite what the interviews said they were. The puff pieces on them and all that. So they sigh and they're like, okay, definitely a secret.
He smiles and nods, and then he'll like pull out a little gadget or two of his own that he works, and they're all very like low stakes, super safe little widget type deals. Nothing on the order of something that he thinks Randy could hurt people with or hurt himself with.
So it's kind of like we're at my bed and we're playing with action figures.
I think it's a lot like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay. I think we're
Is there
having
anything
a lot
more
of
you
fun
want?
then.
Anything more you want from the scene?
I want to roll a die. I just don't know what I would roll a die for.
What do you want? Yeah, what do you want to happen? What stakes are there here?
Is this a line or a veil? Let me just check real quick. I don't see it on the list. What if this were to become something more? And
Oh,
how does the group feel about that?
It's fine.
Okay.
you want to hook up with the Celestin, the coolest member of the band, also the shyest? That sounds great. I think you should probably roll friends.
Okay. All right. So my
I,
friends.
I think with the setup, it's easy.
Okay. All right. So it means I need to get a 5 or
5
higher?
or better, you're rolling a d20 and adding 2 to it. I'm just really
Okay.
curious what this d6 is going to give us.
Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, I got it.
Of course, that's where you roll a net 20. That's where you waste your net 20. That's where you get your net 20. Of course it is. Still.
Oh, I got a 2.
Oh, sweet. The heat rises. Love it. That's what I wanted to happen. It's perfect. Yeah. Is it like a really tentative thing, or is there just a moment where both of you explode into kissing? What do you imagine happens here? You have full narration, full authorial narration here. Just remembering that we do have a veil on sexual content. So once the jizz music starts to play, we fade to black.
Yeah. Yeah, like we got our stuff out, and we're showing stuff and all that kind of stuff, and then our hands touch, and then we look at each other, and then we both go in for a kiss. And
he's like laying on your bed with his legs like up, his feet up. They're kind of kicking. Oh, that's cute. That's pretty great. Sweet. And then we cut away from that. Where, Ken, where is it that you and Lucky are when Weechi, aka Dandy, finds the two of you?
I think Kem has been sneaking around, trying to because she has also realized that the band isn't what the article said. So now she's trying to figure out what they're really like. And the only way she knows how to do that is to sneak around and watch them when they don't know. Whether she's successful at that is a different question.
Can I say that? So basically, I think Lucky's been trying to set a meal for both Randy and Dandy, and maybe what do you think about me having pressed you into service as a waiter so that you can get closer to them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Here we go.
Cool. So you're making food for both Randy and Dandy, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, cool. So then you're in the galley. We've got an auto chef, but you never turn it on, right? You're the chef. The auto chef's very boring.
It does basic stuff, and then I punch it up. Yeah.
It like chops carrot. You Julianne. You are awesome. So you're working on that. And Kim, do you help? Like, are you a sous chef assistant, or are you just watching? What is Kim's role in the kitchen at this moment with Lucky?
Yeah, I think I do what I'm told. Like if Lucky tells me to chop something, then I'll chop it. If he tells me to put something in the pan, then I'll put it in the pan. And if he tells me to, just put that on medium for a bit, then I'll ask exactly what temperature and for exactly how long.
Oh my, this does smell ever so good. Dandy says as he kind of waddles in. He's now put on a top hat.
So Lucky has kind of tuned the meal a little bit to each of to each of the different people. He's a little bit flustered that Handy isn't here, but that's probably okay because I think Randy and Dandy are enough to kind of deal with on their own. And I think there's this long table, and I think he has Kim sort of like a formal waiter coming out to handle Dandy, and Dandy gets food that's like almost like a the equivalent of like a steak, but it has a great presentation. It's got the little sprig of, spice on top, and it's got the little drizzle that makes an interesting pattern. It's almost like eating maybe small pieces of amuse bouche, things that look really great. On the other hand, Randy gets like a bowl of like Pop Rock cereal with like blue milk in it, and it makes all sorts of noise. And about the time he gets bored of it, I think there's like a plunger in it that goes off. So he gets like 3 spoonfuls in, and then it blasts all over the place. And I'm trying to keep him as interested as possible, giving him exciting. Maybe something comes out that's flaming and he goes to eat it, and it kind of goes out right as he eats it, that kind of thing.
Ooh, wow. That sounds challenging, right?
Yeah, that sounds great.
I think that's a tricky thing to pull off.
Okay.
So let's see how well your cooking works. You get to roll 2d20.
Okay.
What do you think? How do you think you're tackling this? Do you think you're using your wits here? Do you think you're trying to be charismatic and charming? Maybe not. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, so I could see it being trying to figure out the personalities of these people, but I think what I'd like to go with is I'd like to go with pockets, because it's a little bit of a weird thing. In that, do I have just the right spice, or do I have just the right gadget to keep them entertained and that kind of thing?
Oh, that sounds fun. Yeah. So let's say it's tricky.
Okay. And I'll roll 2d20 plus my pockets is 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I rolled a 12 on, let's see. I rolled a 5 and a 12. So that's a 14, which is not enough. Oh, it is enough. Tricky is 10.
It is. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Roll that d6 and let's.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, a
5.
Special benefit. Awesome. So you're cooking all this stuff and you send out Kim to set the table. And as you do, Dandy comes in. He says, oh, this reminds me of a particular meal I had on Canto Bite. Have you ever been there?
He's saying this to Kim?
No, to Lucky. Sorry,
to
Lucky was cooking.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
it's as you're cooking, you're finishing up the last bit. He's reached up and stuck a like slightly furry finger into one particular part of the amuse bouche.
Yeah.
It's just the one finger. He's not like Randy. He's Dandy.
He says, so Lucky's like, I haven't ever actually been to Canto Blight, but I studied with someone who had. I didn't realize that my technique here had mirrored his, and I really appreciate you pointing that out. That's very astute observation, sir. And to get back a little bit, you said that we were all wearing the jumpsuits and everything.
That's what's expected of you.
Right. So Lucky is wearing the same thing, but he's done, the equivalent of like popping the collar or rolling up the pants legs or whatever it is that makes it look a little bit more stylish. But it's also the wrong name tag because he wasn't really intended to be here, right?
So what is the name tag thing?
I'll put it in the chat. Nanu Etch.
New Etch?
Yeah, New Etch. So and so basically I think I'm kind of the cook coming out and hearing the information from Dandy, and I think that Kim is actually the equivalent of the waiter standing there with like the little napkin over the
Dandy says, yes, well, it reminds me of it. You've done a reasonable facsimile, I have to say. And I appreciate all the extra care you've made. Yes. And he pulls out of one of his little pouches and he gets this little bit of, this is Illumian snuff, some of the best you want in me.
And I think that,
Come on, New Edge, live a little.
yeah, I think I look at him a little bit. Oh yeah, that's right. And I kind of lean over and I take a little bit, and I'm going to. How much is this? Is this like one dose?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, of course, one dose. It's your first time. It may be. Yes, it's one dose. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm definitely gonna take that. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, this is a psychedelic snuff. So the first thing that happens is that he's standing there, and then he becomes kind of a kaleidoscope image, and you see these other two Ewoks that start to just rotate around him slightly. And then you hear the as he snuffs up a little bit himself, he giggles, and then he pads away to climb up into his. Do you have a booster seat for him, Ken?
Yeah, probably. Like one of those, like a high chair you had to kind of climb up into.
Yeah. He like takes his top hat off and puts it on the table, and then he starts climbing up the side of the chair so they can get into it. Then the chair topples over, and he just dissolves into giggles and lays on his back and stares at the ceiling of the galley for a while. And he's like reaching out, like he's touching things on the ceiling, but really his hands like this high up off of the deck. So yeah. Jam.
So I think.
Can. Oh, yes.
I think Lucky at that point tells Kim, I'm going to need you to handle the 3 Ewoks over there, and points in Dandy's direction. And then he walks over to where Randy is and challenges him to like a arm wrestling session. But like, he's like, yeah, but I can only do 2 of you at the same time. I mean, I've only got 6 arms, right? So, and I think that might confuse Randy a little bit, but I'll basically start. Yeah.
Awesome. He's going to punch you in the nuts. Yep. Just straight off. No preamble whatsoever.
Nice. And I think there's stars from Lucky's perspective. You see all these stars and they start moving around, and I'm rolling around on the ground, and yeah, that sounds great.
Randy places a foot over top of you, raises his little Ewok arms up with victory.
And then
you see this, Rodian?
And then snaps a selfie.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
It takes like 4 or 5 versions. He starts skimming through it on his little stata pad, trying to figure out which one he likes best. Joe Cam. So we pick up, and Physitron, which is the droid, Physitron has moved up to the cockpit, and it says, "Greetings, Chiss woman."
Donk droid? Physitron. I assume that is your title?
Physitron is my preferred designation. Thank you.
Joe Cam is my preferred designation.
That is much more interesting than Chiss woman.
We try. Are you, do you have, I think she just sort of gesticulates back there. Does that sort of pandemonium happen at all your concerts? I've seen a few billboards for FizzBlizz, but I didn't realize you held such sway over large groups of people.
Yes, we are very popular, but our attitude on the stage is different from what you are seeing. Please do not judge us.
I have to say that as far as gaining the attention and affections and resources of large people, I suppose this is a more interesting way of doing it than, forcibly taking over their town. So that no judgment. I'd merely wish to get you safely to your next concert, and hopefully whatever happens there won't be quite as violent. Are your fans that intense everywhere?
I certainly hope not. Our next gig is at the Stardust Super Pleasing Pleasure Park. It is on Adderlawn.
Oh, that sounds hopefully it will live up to his name and will be pleasurable.
It is an amusement park on Adderlawn. My understanding is that it is pleasing.
Have you always wanted to play music?
I am programmed to play music.
I only see the droids that Lena programs, and they are often programmed for very interesting and niche things, but I haven't met a music droid ever. But that is fascinating.
I noticed your music tastes are very different from the music of Fizzbliz.
I think she like turns down the like the Star Wars NPR that's playing in the cockpit now and is like, if you wish to be focused and intense, this helps me use that part of my brain. Oftentimes I don't have a lot of use for activating the parts of my brain that are chaotic, dancey. Is that not what your music does?
I have seen many bioorganics who enjoy dancing to the music of Fizzbliz. This is not something you enjoy.
It is. I don't often like to let things make me do things when I hear them. I'd like to be in control of my surroundings, and concerts seem like the whole opposite of that. But you find this is effective for the people? They seem to be happy. I guess stress relief or something.
They exhibit what appears to be happiness emotion. If you're saying you wish to remain in control, does that mean that you could not possibly choose to dance?
That is a good point, Visitron. I will have to, when I'm off duty next, I will have to play one of your songs and see what that is like. Maybe in my quarters. Maybe I'll start there. Do you have a recommendation?
Of course, I have a recommendation. However, none of the rest of the group would wish to hear it because we played it 46 times in a row. But Happy Bumpy is quite a good tune.
Well, it was a very bumpy situation that we got you out of. Sure, I'll have to listen to that then.
Technically, I could request that you listen to it now. I believe I will do so.
You could ask. I think
And the
she kind of
Gonk droid starts like heads over and kind of nudges close the cockpit door. Then you see a pair of speakers. It just kind of drops out. It starts playing the song that you heard as you were coming in to save these guys.
yeah.
It's all right. It's fuzz core, so there's a lot of metal, and I mean, it's pre-recorded. He's just playing a recorded version,
Yeah.
but it's obviously a live recording because you could hear people like screaming the name of Fizzblitz, singing the songs along with Randy and Dandy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that you see her kind of like her impassive face at first as just like brows intent for listening, like she's picking out the tune and melody, and then you kind of see like a little bop going. She's like, okay, I see, I understand. This is where you move to this. I see the BPM is designed to encourage movement. As she's leaning
You're like analyzing the song. That's great. I like it. Cool. And as you are kind of breaking down, this is the point where dancing happens. You are hailed, like you see that a ship comes up from behind you, and like it pick it up on your radar. You have not quite like popped in the coordinates to jump into hyperspace or anything like that. You just found out you're supposed to go to a place called Adelon, which is in the Minos cluster, when you're being hailed. We cut away from you though. And yeah, so Kim, Lucky, you guys have successfully fed Randy and Dandy. Randy ate all of his food, then he ate Dandy's food after defeating Lucky. The effects of the snuff have started to fade. You're feeling a lot more yourself. People are like slightly double imaged, but otherwise you're starting to feel better. Randy ate to the point where he got sick. So who's handling that?
I think Kem has mainly tried to contain the chaos to the galley so that it doesn't spill over into the rest of the ship.
Clean up on aisle 3, Randy screams as he wipes his nose and kind of flings it somewhere.
I think she will grab a mop or something, but she'll mainly use it to try to keep Randy from running away into the rest of the ship. Try to goad him into attacking the mop instead of going somewhere else.
Okay. And
I think as we pan around the galley, I think we see one side where Dandy was, which is still pretty pristine, new. And then it's almost like there's a demarcation line where Randy was, where there's just, food on the walls and like a mess and pools of stuff. And to be honest, his throw up probably just merges right in with everything. It doesn't make much of a difference. So
nice. It is a mess. Your galley is well used right now.
Yeah.
Sweet. Quick check into Lena. As do you continue just hanging out after, or do you and Boneb come out to check on everybody else?
Yeah, I think we have that awkward part where you're coming out, you're kind of disheveled looking, and your hair's in the wrong spot and stuff like that. And
except for Boneb, he's a Sulcine, he doesn't have any hair. But yeah, Lena, totally that.
Right. And they turn back and they're like, the coast is clear. We can go.
Good. I know that you're embarrassed for having slept with me. I don't want anyone to know because it will make you sad. And then he sneaks up.
Well, that's sad.
And he slinks off and goes to the quarters that you guys have set up for him. So
I walk back up to the galley, and I'm just like, holy Kark, what is going on?
There has been some consumption of hallucinogenic and as well as too much food.
This is a disaster.
Also, Lucky got kicked in his genitals.
Both of them.
Well, this is just not right.
I agree.
I
And
think
like they're getting angry.
I think that Lucky and Randy are in the process of basically running. It almost looks like a game of tag. Lucky's perspective is, man, I need to wear this guy out, right? At some point, he has to go to sleep. So he's just trying to keep him running around, active. Lucky's actually swinging from the ceiling at different points, trying to catch up with him and, keep ahead of him so that he doesn't really get out of the galley, but he also is very, very active. Yeah.
Got tons of energy. He's like a toddler on speed. Literally bouncing off walls. So
Okay.
if somebody wants to take it to a roll to try to corral, calm down, or fool Dandy, or Randy, you can. Otherwise, it just takes up your time. He just takes up all of your energy. That's it. You can keep him from doing stuff, but that's primarily your focus. Your choice.
So I'm going to go get a power water blaster, and I'm going to clean
Let's
up.
see. All right, give me a pocket roll. I want to see if you have a power water blaster. I love this. We'll say it's I'll just call it easy for now.
Easy, which is a 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
just a 5. Just a 5.
D20 plus 1. Got a 9.
Okay. Roll that D6.
D6. Got a 3.
Okay. Standard outcome. You have a power water blaster.
I think Lucky and Randy make a game out of trying to avoid the water blaster, so that as Lena is spraying everything down, they're trying to hop out of the way and get around and maybe even see if they can't trick the other one into getting squirted.
Nice. So is Lena primarily spraying down the walls and cleaning the galley? Is Lena gonna like crowd control Randy and try to knock him to the ground? What is Lena doing here?
Definitely aiming for Randy. Very upset with Randy. Wants to ruin his day.
That's awesome. So you turn the water blaster on him and you hit him. Like he holds up his hands and he's laughing like, no one would shoot me. And then he comes flying back. Boom, he hits the wall. Go down, you're like spraying him in the face. He's like, I'm drowning. Ah. Yeah, that's I think Dandy would probably laugh his little Ewok butt off at that. That's great. That's great. We cut back to the cockpit. Joachim, you've been hailed by another ship, a larger ship. And just at a glance, like you don't even have to use any sensors. You see this thing has a pair of turbo lasers. You can see that the low amber light of one of those bubble turrets. There's someone in the turret chewing chew stem. It's a Trandoshan in the bubble turret. It takes the chew stem out and like sticks it up against a piece of the wall and then flicks on the little gun thing. Trandoshan chewing chew stem, indeed. But you're being hailed. What do you do?
I flip open the comms and I'm like, hello, LWSS Hummingbird. Who is hailing us?
Greetings, Hummingbird. This is the Clinch clan.
And should I know that from somewhere?
Ignorance. We have taken to wiping Ewoks out of the galaxy for the greater glory. It's a hobby. You have 2 of them. So peacefully give them to us. We will execute them, skin their hides, and wear them home.
I hear what you're saying, and unfortunately cannot comply as they are in our care. So no, I don't believe skinning their hides was in anywhere in our contract. So sorry, but no can do.
A shame. Then, Hummingbird, yeah, at war!
I think she just goes very well and flips the comms off and is like, just kind of says to Physitron, this has got to be the wildest job we've had yet. But kind of like this, like sets into like a very focused, kind of military looking bearing, like, yes, okay, I know how to do this. And I think just immediately drops, does she know where the ship is in relation to our ship? Like, is it behind? Oh, you're muted. Sorry.
Absolutely, it came in visual range of you.
Okay.
Like you saw the turret, like you saw them.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like sidled up perpendicularish to you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in your way, I'm hailing you. I've
Yeah.
got guns. Aren't you scared?
Yeah. And I think immediately she just like fluidly grabs the controller and it just drops into a kind of evasive like military maneuver with no regard for like everyone else on board. But it's
Yeah,
a
you
kind
don't
of
give
like,
anybody a heads up. Like, hey, we're about to go into a giant
we're about to go
dogfight. That sounds awesome.
Exactly.
Guess what? Outmaneuvering this Trandoshan gunship is hard.
I am not surprised. Can this be smarts because this is relying on my military training?
You bet. And it can even be charting a course, trying to get
Yeah.
yourself the heck out of here.
Okay. So yeah, as soon as we finish the initial roll, I can let everybody know, but I don't have time right now. Oh wait, so I would add the modifier to the, I forgot I'm rolling 2. So that's a 18 is the highest.
Nice. So, Lena, you are water cannoning Randy a little bit. At this point, he's like making swimming motions. Then, so let me check in, friends, with your like personal vibe or headcanon about gravity on a ship and Star Wars, because it's not like that's a thing that you really see. Like, we've seen Hydra spanners fall on heads, right? But is there artificial gravity on a Star Wars ship? What thoughts? I feel like there is, but I wanted to make sure that everybody is on board with that.
So I think we see people walking around normally in the movies.
Mhm.
But I'm completely up if you want to say something happens that's floating around or 0G because Jocam had to switch off the artificial gravity to get a loop in or something like that. I mean, either of those, all of that works.
Well, I still think you can get
Yeah.
like thrown back and forth a little bit.
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure that we're all on the same
Yeah,
page
yeah.
vis-a-vis there's generally gravity here. We're not worried about it. Okay, cool.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
So I think there's a guy off to the side with a bucket, and whenever we're supposed to lurch one way, they'll hit the bucket over here. It's a Star Trek reference. If y'all
is
didn't
that
know.
okay? That's cute.
So what they
That's-
did, so how the crew knew where to move in regards to being blasted by the other ship, because there was a bucket off to the side and they would hit it and they would never go that direction. So you notice they all go in the same direction because they're listening to it. Anyway.
Oh, that's great.
That's-
So I was gonna
that's
say,
pretty wild.
I feel like we see people being rattled around in the Millennium Falcon cockpit whenever they have
Absolutely.
to do things.
So all of a sudden, when Jocam flips into a barrel roll and you hear the sounds of turbo lasers outside, because I think they're pretty loud. There's sound in Star Wars in space And so there's sound and space here. You hear the sounds of like blaster fire, turbo laser fire, and I think you guys are thrown about for a bit. Oh, there is that part where Han Solo tells people to buckle up. So yeah, we're good. We're good. My headcanon is now settled. I don't know why I decided to question that. But yeah, the Joe Game is trying desperately to get away from something. You feel the afterburners kicking in. The hummingbird is really taking off. Kim, what do you do?
We are under attack. I must assist. And she just runs out of the galley, drops them off, and rushes to the cockpit to check with Joker what's going on, what she can do to help.
Sweet. So yeah, Joe Cam, you've got this relatively. You think you've got it? They have 2 firing arcs. They have evidently forward lasers, and then that turret, which has a huge range, and you just barely narrowly avoided that. And when Kim comes up to the cockpit to check in, by the way, Kim, Happy Bumpy is playing in here. It's like the heavy bass edition. So it's the whoop, 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 whoop. It's like fuzzcore with a little bit of like dubstep going on. Whoop, 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 whoop. And yeah, you see Joe Cam is just super focused, and she is flying like the way she was meant to fly. Yeah. What do you do, Kim, when you come in and see that?
I think Kim just jumps into the co-pilot seat and tries to assist as best she can, like calling out where the shots are going and that sort of thing.
Nice. So
Yeah.
I've been looking at this little flyweight system, and I don't see where there's helping.
Well, could it be in combat? Like if you jump into the seat and you're letting me know where this is, and I'm like, great, awesome. Grab the hit a button, and there's like the gunner part comes out so that you can shoot at them while I'm flying.
Nice. So Yin Group provides you guys with guns. Okay.
We probably have a small one that
I think it's a pockets roll.
to.
I love that stat. I love that stat very much right now.
Well, would it be pockets for Kim?
I don't know. Does Kim want to shoot a gun? Turbo lasers? Yeah.
Sure.
All right. It's tricky. It's tricky to rock a rhyme. To rock a rhyme. It's right on time. It's
I
tricky.
need to reload the roller because it never sticks. So let's see that. I don't think the hunt applies here. This isn't really
Fair. I agree. It will when you start shooting, but probably not if you have guns.
Yeah. That's the D20, and I roll the D6 at the same time. A 10 on the D20. That gives me 13. That's not enough for a tricky, right? Where is it?
It was a 10. It was tricky. So you're good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
the
you're
3
successful
on
and
the
a standard success. So
Yeah.
Joe Cam does exactly that. She throws weapons over to you, and you can start firing at this ship if you like. Let's check in with Lena. Your water blaster is all done. The ship is under attack. Kim has left you. Lena, what are you doing?
I'm like, being knocked around, and I'm still very angry with Randy, but I have this eureka moment, and I'm like, the lawn laser, and they run back to their
The lawn laser.
their crate and open it up, and they're going to somehow put it on the external part of the ship and just let it start doing its thing. I don't know how.
Yeah, I tell you what, here's what we're going to do. We're going to call that fixing it to the ship while you're in flight is going to be, I think that's hard. That's a crazy maneuver, right? Let's make it hard. Let's see if you pull it
Sure.
off.
Sure.
Are you going to use a droid to attach it?
That's smart.
Okay. All right. I'm attaching it to a droid, and I'm like, go attach yourself to the top of the ship, and I'll turn it on.
That's great. That's great.
Let's see. I think that's Moxie, so I'm going to go with Moxie. Or it could be friends to convince the droid to actually go into it.
Yes, because this is your first response.
Don't you backtalk me. And I slap it on top of them. So I'll roll friends.
Okay.
Let's see. 2d20 plus 2.
Difficulty is hard. Yeah.
Got it. I do not make it.
Oh
I'm-
man.
If I had done Moxie, I would have made it, but I did not. So
Okay.
And I'm gonna
So
roll my
the good
D6.
news is we get to engage a new mechanic because it's the first time anyone's missed anything. You get to mark the check mark for grit. You get a grit out of that.
okay.
Yes, you on a failed roll, you mark 1 grit and face the music. You can spend 5 grit to turn a failed roll into a standard success at any time you want.
Nice.
So, sweet. So what happens is that this little astromech droid grabs your lawn blaster and it goes out onto the thing, and it's coming up to the thing. It starts to set it, and then Joe like whips around, and this little asteroid binks it, and then it goes floating off. And then the lawn blaster goes off, and it fires a whole bunch of different directions randomly. And you guys continue on, and the astromech droid is just floating in the cold of space. And it's like,
I'm looking through the porthole, and I'm like, still kind of excited. I'm like, it works. It works.
there's a little bonehead just like pats your back a little bit. Good work. That was very impressive. Cut to Kem, or no, Lucky. I want to see what Lucky's up to. We know what Kem's about to do.
Oh, I think Lucky. So whenever the ship started moving all of a sudden, and there were all these explosion noises and stuff, I think Lucky was like, "Wow, it's kicking back in. Oh no!" And kind of, it's kind of rolling around. Wait, like, oh, and probably turns to Randy and is like, "Do you hear that? Oh."
It's like, oh man, I'm waterlogged. I think I'm gonna die. And he lays on the ground. And he's just sodden wet, and wet Ewok is not great. Sweet. Let's cut to Kem. Kem, this is also hard. You're hunting some Trandoshans. The Trandoshans are calling over the comms, "Give us the Ewoks!"
Never, never.
Stupid Rhodian, your operas are terrible.
You shall suffer for this insult.
Ooh.
They're talking trash. I love it. See how this goes. Good luck.
Yeah, so I think this is Moxie. It's just blasting them.
Nice.
And I'm hunting, so it's 2 dice.
I agree.
Roll the dice. Let's see what happens.
Stay on target. Stay on target.
That's not great. 7 plus 2 is 9.
Sweet.
It's
You get to
easy,
mark a
right?
grit. You get to mark a grit. Good job. Now,
Yeah. I mark a grit and I rolled a 1 on my D6. So this is
oh,
not
sweet.
great.
The heat goes up to 5.
There's
Sweet.
no way I can
I
help.
think we're taking fire from a
There's-
3rd ship. There's someone else here.
Exactly. There is no help roll. Like, you just do the
Oh,
thing. We may hack in a help roll for next session, but we're just a few minutes from in. So I think what happens is you take fire, right? You fire at the Trandoshans. It glances off of their shields, and Joachim, one of your engines gets hit and it starts sparking. You definitely need somebody to get back there and fix those engines. You also need to plug in some hyperspace coordinates to get yourselves out of here, jump to hyperspace and go to Adelon. So Joachim, what are you doing?
So wait, I can't hit the hyperspace because is it broken or?
The hyperspace is not broken.
Okay.
But if you stay where you are right now, your sublight engines are at basically 50% capacity. You've lost a lot of thrust because you guys have been hit.
Okay.
But if you jump to hyperspace, the hyperspace engine will kick in. But that, of course, doing that in the middle of a firefight, astrogation coordinates, all that stuff, not getting lost, that is going to be hard. So
Yeah.
difficulty 15.
Okay.
It's
yeah.
not even a roll if you get away from them and then you plug in your astrogation. You just do the thing. But doing it in the middle of
Okay.
a fight is incredibly dangerous.
Yeah. Then I think that she's gonna want to having missed the thing, I think she's going to want to execute a maneuver like hit the brakes and drop down so that they go past us.
Oh, nice. Okay. So
And then kind of do one of those just as like a course starting and see if they keep going, so that, and to kind of see if Kem can get off one last shot at them, but then we're in a better position that we can just jump into hyperspace.
nice. I like it. So let's call this tricky. You're doing some tricky flying. So tricky seems appropriate. And if you succeed with standard difficulty, then you set Kim up to take a shot, right?
Yeah.
If you succeed and roll a 5 or a 6, right, to gain a benefit, then you can immediately try to go in. Well, I'll give you a hard roll to jump to hyperspace at that point.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes. So can I roll 2d20 because of charting a course?
Absolutely. You're
Right.
trying to pull a tricky maneuver here. You're rolling 2d20. Feels like you're using wiggles to me.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Or do you think it's smarts? Like wiggles and smarts are which
kind
one?
of yeah, like it's relying on that, but I think it's an innovative application, so wiggles make sense.
Okay.
So I'll do well, I will add the modifier after the roll because I'm rolling a bunch of stuff. Ooh, so this is +2, so that's a 16 and then a 4 on the d6.
Okay, a 4 on d6 is standard outcome, which means you're just giving Kim a shot. So Kim, let's go ahead and what do you want to accomplish as you get a shot at the Trandoshan ship going past you? The Click clan.
The Click clan.
Mhm.
I mean, they have a bunch of weapons, so I don't think it's possible to disable them. I think she just wants to put a shot like right at the pilot, not that it will kill them or anything because they're shielded and everything, just to show that she can do it.
Ooh, you just wanna...
more like intimidation and proving a point than actually hurting them.
Oh, interesting. All right, let's see how that goes. We'll call that if you just do it, it's like a tricky shot. Right? It's not hard if you're just trying to intimidate them, because you'd have to get through shields and all that other craziness.
Yeah, and I think this is more wiggles than Moxie probably, because
live with
it's
that.
kind of it's using the gun for intimidation more than what it's intended for.
Okay. Keep talking yourself out of the highest stat. It's great.
Yeah, I know.
My wife would be like, "What is he doing?"
Yeah, but I think this is still the hunt because we're
for sure
battling with them. So that's 15, 16, but a 1 on the D6. No, wait.
This is a 5, right?
Yeah, this is a 5. Yeah, it's weird. I shouldn't roll all the dice.
It's too many dice, right?
10 and a 5.
Okay. So the 5 means that you're going to gain a benefit, and you exceeded the 10, which was tricky. So I think the benefit is that you succeed, and it's a thing where he's going to bail off for a minute. That shot, it gets, it hits him at just the point where he loses a bit of his nerve and he breaks off. We're going to cut back to Lucky at this point, because I think we saw Lena do the astromech trick. What is Lucky doing at this moment? You know that there's a lot of combat going on. Lena ran off with one of their droids. You've dealt with both of the Ewoks at this point, and the slightly maudlin Sullustan, who's just calmly hanging out. He's like buckled himself in. He's just sitting there.
Yeah, so I think what Lucky's doing is he's got the Randy and Dandy off in like their bunks, but these aren't the official like stately rooms that they were assigned. These are like literally like bunks on the side, along with Handy, and I think we see Lucky kind of shoving Physitron in that direction while he's on the horn saying, "Hey, let me know if we need to bail." He has all of them in an escape pod.
Oh, nice.
Right? And he imagines his job is, if there's a problem, he's going to jettison the customers, right, so that they can get away. But so he's just ready for basically nothing to happen as Joe Can does their job. Yeah.
Nice. I like it. So with these guys bailing off, Joe Cam, you get an opportunity, if you would like, at hard to plug in those astrogation coordinates and get out of here. Do you want to take that, or do you want to try to get the engine fixed and try something else? What you want to do? Think you're talking on mute, Joe Cam?
So sorry, I thought that was still Lucky. Because I was like, oh, is Lucky doing the astrogation coordinates?
No. Sorry. I may have actually misstated, but yeah.
No.
So Joe Cam, with the shot that Kim made and that extra success, the Trandoshan click clan they've kind of broken off for a second before the other Trandoshan scream at their pilot to get back in the fight. You've got a moment if you want to take a wild chance, plug in those astrogation coordinates and try to get back out of Dodge. Yes.
If I were to run into the cockpit and jump in the co-pilot seat, could I help reduce that from hard down a notch to like 50-50?
You know what? I've been furiously looking for some kind of help role, and it does not seem to exist. That sounds as good as anything. I'm going to make a ruling, not a rule. Between sessions, I'll think more about it. But yes, you can knock that from hard to tricky.
Ooh, okay. So so Lena is normally the navigator, so you're hopping in and like yelling coordinates and hitting buttons as I'm doing this. Okay, so what is it? Would this be Wiggles then still, or?
I think you've got to be pretty darn smart to plug in very
Okay.
complicated astrogation coordinates and make sure you don't fly into a sun or an asteroid or
All right.
Star Destroyer, that kind of stuff.
Okay, and this is charting a course, so we are beeping and pulling levers. Oh, it's the same 2 16s. That's +3, so that's a 19.
Nice.
And a 5 on the D6.
And a 5 on the D6. You guys leave the Click clan behind, jump into hyperspace, headed towards the Minos cluster in Aderlon, and that is where we will end our session. So right at time, I made a mental note, we should stop here, but I was excited, I kept going, so I apologize if folks need to go, especially under if it's super late for you. So if folks need to go, feel free to go. Otherwise, anyone who can stick around, let's do some quick stars and wishes, because I'd love to hear your thoughts on this game. First time I've run it, so all feedback is good. We'd like to go first for wishes. We start with wishes so we can end with stars.
Who's going first?
Why don't you do?
Oh, right.
Popcorn, whoever wants to go. So Anders, you by asking, you get to go first.
Yeah. Okay. Wishes first.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Just have another fun mission. uh, yeah. Maybe see some of the. There are some kind of combat rules, I think. I don't know if they're. It's interesting to try them out. It seems like the just the foundational rules, basic rules are covering most things. I don't really have any wishes, I think.
Okay. Thank you, Anders. Please say it. Appreciate it. So who's next? Who'd like to go next for wishes?
I'll go next. So I don't really have any specific wishes other than like a couple of scenes, which I think is the first is Lucky telling the Ewoks, the band, like, oh, you guys have to pay us extra now because, hazard pay, right? And then the second is whenever they get wherever they're gonna get, Lucky paints like the damage. He paints like big explosions on the side of the ship. Right? Like cartoony looking things where they were hit.
That's great.
That's all I got. Yeah.
That's good,
Yeah.
Steven. I love it.
Yeah, I have a wish to be better at in character flirting / repelling flirting, because I was like later I was like that I should have just been like, does that work on all of the people to Randy with his little wings thing that I wanted, so I wanted her to be able to deploy that to somebody at some point, because it was so cute. No, I think that mission wise it's a lot of fun. It would be fun, and I love like the space veering around and getting to pilot like for my character's stats, but it would be fun to run into some NPCs for people to do, who have a lot of friends or pockets or stuff, if we've got to like sweet talk our way out of something. Because we've been super great at the tech side of it. And I also wonder if it's been really cool to be rolling well because we've managed to roll well, but like you could probably also just be like, this is hard, where like you could probably also push us like if you feel like they're getting away with everything.
It's true. Hard and epic seems to be. It just, my brain keeps saying you're rolling a d20. So tricky's like 50-50 shot, and a +1 or +2 just means you have a better than 50, but you guys are hitting it 100% of the time. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I know, but it could just be sometimes the roller loves you, and sometimes, as soon as you're like, yes, more epic rolls, then the roller is like, I hate your guts. So yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Danielle. Okay.
I'd like to see what this gumption thing is. This purple lovely thing. I'd like to.
It's your hit points.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually thought I guess I could have thrown some harm at you guys, but since it's just hit points and it doesn't trigger anything cool, I was like, okay, that's fine. You can throw it around.
I'd like a scene where I'm at a music store, and I find a new band to obsess over.
Ooh.
New band.
I'm very curious about the little connection, and if that's a thing or not, or maybe if you're into a new band that will help it or not. Who knows?
I don't know. Man, I think Lena's moving on. I don't know. We'll see. Already looking for a new band to obsess over. You had your shot. You had your shot, Handy. All right. Kyle, you went last with wishes. You get to go first with stars. Do you have any highlights, particular player moments you want to give us?
I loved that Lucky took the drugs. That was fun. I really like the arm wrestling thing though, where you're like, I can only take it 2 of you at a time or whatever, because you got all these arms. I love that. And I love how Kim made everything into a hunt. Like, it was so cartoonish and so much fun. It was very Elmer Fudd kind of thing, and just the whole So this is the part where you dance. Like I couldn't stop laughing at that. So those are my stars.
Those are good. Good stars. Thank you, Kai. Danielle, you're up next. Any stars?
Ooh. Oh yeah. I really enjoyed I love that we went into it like this is a really soft, cute, very PG system, and we had sex and drugs and murder. I was just like not at all violating any of the lines, but it was just funny that we're like, but I enjoyed that, like the system we rolled with it, and I thought all the choices that we got there were good. I loved Lena's like magnet idea with the hover discs. I thought that was really cool, and that was really cool. And obviously like Lucky's like using the species and like really getting that sense of, I love the straightening the sheets and like just that kind of contrast of like the Star Wars species and what they're interested in. And I thought that you really drew that out well, Stephen. That's always cool to see. And I did love Kem's like hunting, but also like very invested in like making sure like this is okay. But the line when Lena walked in like, this is a disaster, what has happened? You're like, some hallucinogenics have been taken. It just had such a precise list of everything that had gone wrong. Was really great. So I love the personalities that everybody has like come up with for them, and the band. Like it could have just been like, oh, the band and there are some cute Ewoks, but as I said before, all the little individual personalities and Randy's like the cast and I'm already bored. Oh, by the way, the Rhodian ate your stuff and I couldn't help it. What? Bye. That was so hilarious. Perfect illustration of somebody who is insufferable but adorable.
Glad that came across. I was worried. Like, is he too much? But Danielle says okay. Stephen, what about you? Any stars?
Yeah, so there were some I really liked all the scenes with individuals. Like I liked this scene between the Physitron and Jokem, where they were talking about, well, you have to listen to it now. This is dance music. And I have to admit, Kai, I really loved that you went there with the whole love scene. I'm like, oh, that's what he's gonna suggest. Oh, what? This is the best. This is great. Things like that. That was just really good. And I also have to say, so I've been, I tried to lean really hard into the campiness, and I'm a cook, right? And I'm useless, and I'm taking drugs and all that kind of stuff. And I want to say, if I cross a line, please X card me. But I was like, oh, please, thank you so much for putting up with all of that silliness.
I personally thought it was great. I was very happy. Sweet, thank you, Stephen. Anders, bring us home.
Yeah, I think all the particular moments I especially enjoyed have been mentioned. I just think everyone did a really great job of embracing the playful silliness while still engaging with with the story, I guess, with what was actually happening. There was nobody trying to I guess invalidate the real stakes. And that was really cool to see everyone have fun while still going along with what was happening. And I also really enjoyed the different personalities of the band, especially Randy, but but yeah, everyone. It was really fun to see. They're almost like the four temperaments, like yeah, that sort of thing. I had a lot of fun.
Nice. I'm glad. I a few repeats of others, but I really liked, Danielle, that you played Jokem as like the straight man. Like everybody's doing a little bit of zany, and Jokem's the like, no, I'm level-headed. I got this stuff I'm listening to NPR style music. That was cool because it was a great countertone to the craziness of FizzBlizz, and so I appreciated that. That worked really well for me. They've already said it, but Kai, Lita, and Bodeb, aka Handy, hooking up, and like I love the moment where he said, "Is this the two of them playing with their action figures?" I'm like, wow, that is certainly what it is. That is such a cool descriptor that really like immediately drew me into a mental image. It was great. It was so succinct. Steven, the lucky shenanigans are great. I just love that everyone's doing useful things. You're like, I'm in the escape pod, and I'm like, oh yeah, you are. If anyone fails a roll, that escape pod's going off, and then you nailed more rolls, darn you people. But still, it was good. It was good. It was good. Kim the Hunter is fun, and now I am now thinking of KIM the Hunter, and I don't know why. That just literally jumped in my head, and that tickles me even as much as QEM. But it was good. It's a really great cast. I can't wait to finish up the story. So we'll bring this recording to a close.